Alright everyone, time for another October surprise, which is that there's another alleged pervert within the Democratic Party, specifically Cory Booker himself. Now, why does this matter? Cory Booker, of course, one of the co-opting opportunists trying to utilize the Me Too movement as a weapon for political reasons. That could bite him in the ass literally on this one. Now that the news cycle's picking up for the day, you'll probably see some people talk about this. It'll probably spread. It'll probably get picked up by larger networks. Apparently, what's happened is that there's been an anonymous allegation that back in 2014, when he was doing his politics thing, he was in an LGBT sort of event, and he was like called heroic at there. And he followed this one dude into the bathroom who had, basically expressed admiration for him, a gay man. And then he was like, getting all hot and bothered over the fact that he was basically called a hero. And so he started like trying to rub the dude, push him up against the wall and trying to get a blowjob, basically. Now this person is very, very nice and conciliatory. And he's like, no, I don't think he's a bad dude. I don't think that he's gay. Straight dudes for some reason would attempt to do this, like get a blowjob from another dude. I call bullshit on that. No, if you're trying to get a blowjob from another dude and you're a dude, you're not entirely straight. you're bisexual. That is certain. In the most literal sense, attraction to a male, even situationally, what the fuck else am I going to call it? Doesn't mean he's fully gay, but he can be bi. Or he could be like, I don't know, he just wants to get his knob gobbled, I guess. But Cory Booker allegedly did this. Now, he hasn't responded so far. I wonder why. Here's the problem. Putting on my serious hat for a moment, the allegation itself, there's no corroborating evidence as far as has been released now, so there's no reason to believe it. But here's the biggest side. The biggest side is this. Cory Booker is one of the people, political opportunists, who said basically it doesn't matter if there's corroborating evidence. You should literally have, if a person in a high office, appointed or elected, if there's an allegation of this kind, start an FBI investigation. One allegation, two allegations makes no difference. 10 allegations. Doesn't matter how comprehensive they are, what corroborating evidence there is, get the FBI involved. Under those circumstances, under his own pretext, Cory Booker should be investigated by the FBI. This anonymous allegation, the person should be interviewed by the FBI. They should talk to Booker. They should see if there are any other witnesses. There are at least a couple of possible hearsay witnesses, according to this particular statement. So that would be pretty bad for Cory Booker. Here's the thing, though. Nobody cares if Cory Booker might be gay, and there are rumors that circulate about his sexuality. Nobody gives a fuck. This would be a form of non-consensual behavior, locker room behavior maybe, Mr. Booker, that would get him unelected, basically, within the realm of the Democratic Party. He's probably the reason why he hasn't responded yet. He's probably like fucking nervous. He's talking to his lawyers trying to ask how he should respond. They're going to ask him, well, is it true or not? If it's not true, you're going to respond a little differently. If it's true, look for this. If he responds at all, and he might not, he might try to ignore it. If he responds at all, look for this following tell. Because he's a politician, understands the legal system, he will not fully deny it if he's guilty. There's no chance. If he's guilty of it, there's no possibility that he will directly deny it, which is what has happened. Like Kavanaugh, when the allegations came out against him, he's like, I unequivocally, completely, 100% deny this. It never happened. I don't even recall this fucking party. I don't know what these people are talking about. That's the sign of someone who's probably telling the truth. But then you look at like Bill Clinton. Remember when he was questioned about Lewinsky? I did not have sex with this person. And then he went on to talk about the definition of sex. Well, that's a little bit of a roundabout, Bill. And of course, we now know he did have sex with that woman. It's just that it was prefaced by a blowjob and some things with a cigar that weren't in his mind fully sex. For some reason, he wasn't married to her, so it doesn't count, I guess, or some bullshit like that. Cory Booker could be done for because of the allegation being as it is. Like, no Democratic voter, no Cory Booker fan cares if he's gay. Nobody cares. Or does gay things. I don't care either. But if it's non-consensual, I care. And Cory Booker himself, hashtag me too. Start an FBI investigation. Mr. Booker should come out and demand an FBI investigation into the claim. Yeah, absolutely he should. Because he's the one who started the whole thing about, well, there needs to be... the Kavanaugh investigation wasn't long enough. It wasn't there wasn't enough breadth to it or anything. Like, they do their investigation after telling you that they can't even in good faith do an investigation because it's all fucking he said, she said in the first place. Now you've got an allegation on you. Well, Guess it doesn't matter that it's just an allegation. You know, if any random person says Cory Booker touched me inappropriately 10 years ago, the FBI needs to get involved somehow. According to Mr. Booker, I guess that makes sense. So yeah, he needs to be investigated for this, and he shouldn't be able to take office. He should be relieved of his duties until such time as a proper FBI investigation culminates. In my opinion, I mean in his opinion, he's the one that said that. You know, then he could have sided with common sense and said, well, you know, and further, based on the testimony we've seen, it's literally just testimony. It's he said, she said. No lawyer would be able to prosecute Mr. Kavanaugh. So we're not going to Me Too him any longer. I'm going to vote against him because I'm a Democrat, but yeah, we don't need an investigation. The FBI's already weighed in and said it's baseless. He could have done that. He could have stood on principle, on some real principle, but he chose not to do that. So now he'll reap the repercussions, which is that all those people who thought it was very funny that Mr. Booker thought that the FBI's investigation wasn't even proper enough because it wasn't long. It didn't give him the result that he wanted to see for political reasons. Now he gets to be Me Too'd by a gay man, no less. So yeah, it's possible the allegation is true. There's no corroborating evidence at the moment, but it doesn't matter. Hold them to the same, hold their feet to the same fire that they hold others to. Essentially, the same standards should apply for Cory Booker as applied for Brett Kavanaugh or as applied to anybody else. Fucking Al Franken. Al Franken got forced out based on a picture that he tried to explain away, and it was like bullshit. I remember when Kavanaugh's lawyer's statement with regards to the picture was circulated. I remember when that little ditty, that 2 sentences, was taken out of context by Al Franken's fans, and it was fronted as though it was actually the claimant that had said it. Like, out of context, it looked like it was being said by the person making a claim against him, and it actually was his own lawyer's statement that was taken out of context by a bunch of fucking Democratic Party shills. I remember that. They'd probably do that here, too. They'd probably cut up this statement into little pieces in order to make the dude who's making the allegation look crazy or something. And this has been done. And of course, if Booker, even if you're found guilty, you could just settle out with the collective fund that Congress still hasn't looked into. Congress still maintains a taxpayer-funded pot of money for paying off sexual harassment claims within the workplace of Congress. And they said, well, we need to get to the bottom of why this even exists. Oh, yeah, as though you didn't establish it in the fucking first place, dudes. Of course you did. And you like it. You probably take money from it even when there's no claim against you. That's about all. Peace out.